957th day of our war, day 957. From the islands already conquered, the small islands where Americans fought, the fleet has set sail once more westward. It's day 957, another D-Day in the Pacific, not unlike day 956 or day 958 to come. For day 957, everything is ready. For instance, here are today's shells.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, day 957. This date, Pittsburgh will deliver 85,000 tons of steel. Out of the steel will come shells for the fleet, the metal of guns, the hulls of ships.
The steel will be well used. It will be used here on day 957 by the 5th Fleet as it sails to a new battle. It will serve, too, in the covering air arm.
Target dead ahead. Target dead ahead.
The carriers stand by waiting. A battle is teamwork. Each craft has its own job. So first, the scout planes must see what the enemy is up to. Then from the carriers, the fighters join, eager for the kill. Now the battleships speak, the mighty ones, shouting through the 16 inches. Bombers complete the team, the Avengers. Yes, the Navy works as a team. Here are the coaches and the battle plan. Here are the ships, the guns, and above all, here are the men. Men at work, firing the guns, clearing the path for the hand-to-hand fight to come. Men will die here so that others may live to fight another day. One more D-Day. One day closer to Tokyo. Yes, men will die here. Our men. The Avengers attack with all bomb bays open. The 40 millimeters let loose, the tracers pointing the accurate marksmanship. It's almost H-hour. Now is the time for rest before looking the Jap in the eye. But not all the team is resting. Before the landing, a smoke screen must be laid. Phosphorus shells are shot onto the beaches. Smoke is thick enough to cover a landing. The small craft, loaded with fighting men, rendezvous. The big guns, cooperating, fire a continuous barrage.
Launch the first wave. Launch the first wave. USA, day 957. The St. Louis Browns are leading the American League by 3 games. In Chicago this summer morning, the thermometer hit 52 degrees, the strangest behavior of mercury in the Windy City since 1895.
They're all here. The swimming tanks, the landing craft, the LSTs. including the American men.
New York, New York, day 957. Number one tune on the hit parade this week is I'll Be Seeing You.
A beachhead is established. The men move inland. There is always the enemy. This is what the ships did to the enemy so that the men on the beaches could live.
USA, day 957. Reacting to good war news, the stock market went off 1 to 3 points. In Cleveland, Ohio, John M. Scanlon, age 76, received a medal for not missing a work day since December 8, 41, 956 days ago.
The softening up from the bombardment was accurate and devastating. Objectives were achieved, including these objectives. It always comes down to man against man.
Washington, D.C., day 957. The Selective Service announced today that the national quota for this month is 100,000 men.
The team moves inland now toward the high mountains. The fate of the enemy is sealed. Men must die to capture an island. There are many islands along the way.
USA, day 957. A horse named Singing Lass paid $68 for two in the first of Jamaica. Triplets were born to Mr. and Mrs. Luke Young of Oklahoma City. And on this day, thousands of miles away, the men who fought at dawn and some who fell at noon thought of home.
Objective secured. Objective secured.
This was the 957th day of our war. Tomorrow will be the 958th.
Midnight in London, and the Navy's day of battle has begun. midnight, and your Navy's great patrol bombers sweep out over the Atlantic in search of Nazi U-boats. It's midnight, and the Navy strikes at a Jap-held Pacific island. Midnight in the sun? Yes, for the Navy works and fights by Greenwich Mean Time. On every ship and plane in the Navy, the navigator's clock is set to correspond with the time of the Greenwich Observatory in England. When it's midnight in Greenwich, it's midnight Navy time wherever ships can sail or planes can fly. And at every meridian around the spinning globe, 3 million men carry the fight to the enemy. Midnight Greenwich means 2 a.m. in the Mediterranean. Nazi freighters skulk along the coast with supplies for their forces in northern Italy. But our swift PTs seek them out under the very teeth of their own shore batteries. In the North Atlantic, it's the hour before the dusk. Convoys which feed our European armies must deliver their titanic load of the implements of war. To guarantee safe passage, planes from escort carriers constantly search the sea lanes. Midnight Greenwich is 10 o'clock in Greenland. The Coast Guard blast a channel for their cutters which track down hidden German weather stations. It's 6 o'clock on Lake Michigan as fledgling Navy pilots practice landings on the training carrier Wolverine. Rehearsal for the Pacific. Midnight Greenwich is dawn in India, the dawn of a great day in the lives of these wounded men. They're going home, soldiers from the jungle battlefields of Burma, airmen who have fought over China. This Navy transport, once a luxury liner, brings them back to family and friends. It's 11 a.m. on Guadalcanal, a different island from the bloody battleground of 2 years ago. Here, a great fleet hospital cares for the Blue Jackets and Marines wounded in the Pacific, brings them back to health and strength. Midnight is 9 a.m. in the seas around Japan. One of our submarines strikes the enemy. American raiders have sunk more than 1,000 Jap merchant ships. And on the Atlantic coast of our own continent, the ungainly PBYs shuttle over the sea frontiers. These are the workhorses of the Navy, the oldest combat planes in the world. The U-boats have learned to keep their distance, but the patrols go on. Midnight Greenwich means 5 p.m. in Utah. This is one of the Navy's great inland supply depots where the materiel of war is stored and started for the front. The scene is one of peace, but a vital battle goes on endlessly, the battle of logistics. In the Pacific and Admiral orders, one advanced base size 10, and a city is shipped overseas. Strike the enemy. Strike wherever he can be reached, from the sea and from the air. Our carriers, more than 100 strong, the carriers that your war bonds built, roam the China seas at will. This task force strikes from the storm. The target is Indochina. The time is midnight Greenwich, 7 a.m. in the South China Sea. years of war, we have forged this new weapon, a force that strikes where it wishes, when it wishes, even in the teeth of a hurricane, crippling, scattering, bleeding the Jap fleet to death. We pay with the lives of our dead, with the blood of our injured. There are no litter bearers in the sky. You come back to the flat top unaided, or you never come back. Midnight Greenwich is 9 o'clock at Iwo Jima. This is what it all adds up to. This is why the Navy fights across the surface of the globe, to put our troops ashore on the enemy's own soil, to kill the Japs. To kill more Japs. And still more Japs. To drive him from his islands, to storm across his homeland, to smash his navy and his army and his empire, so that they shall never rise again. We pay for this. The cost is monstrous in blood and sweat and war bonds. Our enemies thought that we, the people of America, would not, dared not face this cost. We answered, and your war bonds must keep answering so that they will not make the same mistake again.